Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery. Yeah, we'll have it all over again.
Meow meow to everyone, and hello. Hugs to Curtis. Hugs to whoever. I'm feeling kind of tonight, so I'm going to get through it as quick as I can. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get this party started. I guess we're just going to start off with this guy. God. Vance breaks with Trump on day one promise. Ugh. Vice President J.D. Vance appears to walk back President-elect Trump's promise of near blanket pardons for January 6 rioters in a Sunday interview. Yeah, he's saying what he's thinking now that he got elected. They're all like that, though. Vance on Fox News Sunday said a very simple process would mean pardons for those who protested peacefully, who he claimed were treated like gang members by Attorney General Merrick Garland. For those convicted of violent crimes, including assaulting a Capitol police officer, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Yeah, but I don't think very many people did that, though. There's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law. And there are a lot of people, we think, in the wake of January 6th who were prosecuted unfairly. I'd agree with that. Vance's comments differed from Trump's, who has promised sweeping pardons on day one of his administration for anyone involved of the many rioters. Trump told Meet the Press last month that he would issue pardons most likely upon taking office, noting there may be some exceptions, and he would look at individual cases. I do wonder like how that's going to go, and if he's really going to do that on day one, like he promised or insinuated, and if he doesn't, how his followers will feel about him. Because I mean, I never really trust somebody in their second term because like they don't have to worry about being reelected, so they might as well just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, oh, let's see how it goes. More than 1,250 people were convicted or pleaded guilty for their role in the Capitol riot, with charges ranging from trespassing to seditious conspiracy. Yikes, they really got that hard up about trespassing? Several rioters sought to attack top elected officials, including Representative Nancy Pelosi and then Vice President Mike Pence. Nobody went after Nancy Pelosi. No. Some guy asked where her office was. Security guard showed him where her office was, and he took her podium, which, like, I think is actually kind of funny. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but it's kind of funny. So, those people were not in danger. Like, some Republican lawmakers have urged Trump to issue pardons for all January 6 rioters. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a close Trump ally, told the Associated Press last week that those imprisoned over the attacks, regardless of their crime, should be released. Well, I'm almost willing to agree, but I feel like saying regardless of their crime, I feel like that's a little wild, just a little bit. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think that might be just a bit excessive somehow. Hey, I got Curtis and Curtis. That is awesome. Work sucks at the moment. I will endeavor to persevere. Oh my God, my mom used to say that. Use that term, endeavor to persevere. That is so cool. I don't think I've heard anyone else say that phrase since my mom died. That is so cool. I love it. Oh, meow meow, gorilla. Trying to cuss out this fucking tire. Oh no, what happened to your tire? I'm sorry. What's going on with your tire? I mean, obviously it's gone bad, clearly, but like the circumstances around it though. Anywho. So, even the ones that fought the Capitol Police caused damage to the Capitol, I think they've served their time. I think they should all be part. I do kind of agree with that part because I mean they didn't get away with it. They got sentenced and locked up. Like they probably won't do that shit again. Probably not. Hold on, everybody. My kitten is trying to speak to me. Hold on. Sorry, my kitten asked me a question about a baking pan. And you know me, I can't ignore my baby. She is 17. She's still my baby. Oh, hi, Bob. The cat jumped on me. Yeah, at go. Huh? Oh, okay. A new tire on the way to Cub Scout. Are you a Cub Scout leader? Anyway, is there a warranty on your tire? I hope there is, because that's horseshit. That's messed up. And it's kind of wild that Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying this, because most of the Republicans are very much a back the blue bunch of people. So it's kind of wild that someone said, well, even so. But yeah, I mean, I do kind of agree, though. I mean, it's kind of weird to agree with her, but, broken watch can be right twice a day, I say. All right. I'll get rid of that one. All right, so this one, Oklahoma. This is some bullshit in Oklahoma here, so I figured I'd share it with you, even though, at the very least, even if you don't live in Oklahoma, it's an example of what not to do. A bill would ban most cities from providing help to the homeless. Fucking lovely. And they actually have something else. I don't know if it's actually connected to this one, but they also are making it to where you can't help people who are dishoused. And I don't know what you call it, but it's not just homeless people. It would also affect domestic violence shelters where people are hiding from dangerous spouses and shit. So it would basically make it to where basically Oklahoma City and Tulsa would be the only two places that could really accommodate homeless people. No. And make it kind of illegal to have it in any other city, which is super fucking bizarre, and would concentrate all of them in one place. One or two places a little too much. Hold on a second, I'm rolling a cigarette. Oh fuck, my cigarette broke. God damn it. Lovely. Well, wait. I'll make this bigger and I'll see if I can get some captions. It'll let me. Settle down, kids.
No.
He's like, no. Anyway, I'm going to try to re-roll the cigarette because it tore. Well, yeah, it would affect. This is the one that does affect domestic violence shelters too. Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure. Oh, I recognize that spot. That's over by I-40. Oh, at least that one that had the concrete barrier thing. That's another part of I-40 right there. I recognize the mess. That's terrible to say. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's got a stupid ad. All the money. Oh, I fucking hate that guy. He's such a piece of shit. All the money they spend trying to punish homeless people for being homeless, they could have gotten these people like these little tiny mini houses where it fits like one or two people only. Like they could have done that for so many people, and it still would have saved us money. And it would have treated people like shit. I'm a lucky person. I have a home to live in. But most people in the United States are a paycheck or two away from being homeless. So I feel bad for these folks. And I think it's wild that they're passing a law to put limits on how much a charity or whatever can help homeless people. Like, really? I don't really feel like that's almost really not their business, to be honest. Because if somebody wants to help homeless people, why not let them? I think that is crazy. And I don't know if this is going to affect any of these charities' tax exempt status or not. If they're unable, if there's hindrance in what they're doing, whether or not they'll end up having to pay taxes to the state. Because I'm wondering if this might be somewhat, what is it, like basically because of money. Oh, hello, Daniel. How are you? Only 4 minutes in and already got a Wikipedia disclaimer. They could switch. What? Gracious. All right. Next article. Look at this. Oh, okay. So this is from December 18th, but I just came across it. So here in Oklahoma, there's a couple of politicians who are trying to get child services investigated for all the bad shit they've been doing. I told you all about this like a month or two ago, and I've actually been talking about it on and off for a while. Well, it just came to my attention the other day because I was busy looking for something else, and I found this. That one of the representatives that is trying to get the investigation against DHS going, Department of Health and Human Services is what it stands for. I'll call it Child Services because outside of here it's called CPS. And if I say DHS, I'm going to think it's Department of Homeland Security. And I don't want to confuse nobody. But anyway, Child Services getting investigated here because, they take kids without warrants. Kids have been getting sexually abused in care. They've been getting beaten. I mean, a whole bunch of shit's fucking happening. And so this one representative, Republican, surprisingly, and I am Republican, so I know how my party acts on things like this. But he's actually trying to get something done. His name is J.J. Humphrey. And fuck me, dude, the system is punishing him. The Attorney General of Oklahoma is trying to stop the investigation from happening. The governor is trying to stop it from happening. That tells you right there, they're as guilty about what's going on with these kids as the people who are actually touching the kids. But J.J. Humphrey's actually trying to stop it. And I found out they're punishing him. So here we go. A state representative who has long criticized state agencies like the Department of Corrections has lost his chairmanship at the House. I did not know he was on the department, had a chair at the Department of Corrections. I didn't know this. Republican State Representative J.J. Humphrey of Atoka County has set a chair of the Criminal Justice Committee since he was elected in 2022. He believes that calling out agencies may have had a hand in the restructure of the committees. I think they were trying to claim they were restructuring it, which caused him to not have a seat. Humphreys has fronted the push for change at agencies like the Oklahoma Department of Corrections and Child Services. But other state leaders and agencies have called his claims baseless and unnecessary. They are fucking liars. They're either covering it up or they're too stupid to know something's going on, because I've seen this shit been going on. I've been seeing the corruption in child services here in Oklahoma for over 20 years. Humphrey said he knew that calling out corruption in the state would eventually result in the loss of titles. You don't get promoted for going after this. You get demoted. You get, and it's a little disappointed, but I'm just gonna keep working. This week, the House leadership restructured committees at the state capitol. Some areas saw no change, while others saw a complete overhaul. Originally, Humphrey sat as chairman of the Corrections Committee, during which he criticized the state agencies such as the Department of Corrections and Child Services and district attorneys and State Medical Marijuana Authority. I actually don't know what his issue is with them. I'd have to ask him. Actually, that would be kind of neat. Maybe do a little live stream where I'm asking some of the questions about this, because like he's actually really easy guy to talk to. I mean, you can literally just go to the Capitol and go knock on his office door, and if he's there, he'll talk to you. Like, no shit. Like, this dude is so chill. But so I might just do that just for the fuck of it. Anyway, but let's see. He said it's time to take back our penitentiaries. I agree, because this prisons for profit bullshit has got to stop. But it's a very expensive industry there. So he's going to be fucking with people who have a lot of money and a lot of pull. I think he's going to find himself in danger. But I totally back him on this. I'm glad to see a Republican who actually gives a shit about the inmates. Most of the Republicans are like, well, they shouldn't have been in jail then, even though some people are in jail for a crime they didn't commit, but whatever, right? Anyway, Fox 23 brought you coverage this year when Humphreys denounced the Oklahoma Department of Corrections and later Child Services for alleged human rights violations across the state. And he'd be correct. We've got inmates that are being raped daily. We've got inmates who are being extorted. We've got murder being covered up at the Department of Corrections. He is also correct on that. And I'm actually been trying to narrow down when the killings are happening. And I'll get to that later on. Actually, not fuck it. I'm starting to narrow down what shift the deaths are happening on. And then we can try to backtrack it and figure out who was on shift. You know what? We'll talk about it later. Anyway, we've got all these cases. We are going to court on every single one of them. It's not like I'm going to go away. Good for you. Good for you, Humphrey. Good for you. Several of his claims were refuted by those same agencies. Well, of course. Of course, they're not going to say, yeah, you got me, we're guilty, good job. Of course, they're going to deny it. Duh. Go on now. Earlier this year, the Oklahoma Department of Corrections said that his claims were filled with inaccuracies. Really? You know what? I challenge any and every one of y'all watching right now to go open another window, go to Google, go Oklahoma County Jail death, and look at how many fucking news reports and articles you see over the last few years. A fucking ton of them. Supposedly, oh, it's under investigation, but they never investigate it. You never find out what actually killed the person. They're all, and almost all of them, at least from what I've seen, almost 90% of them happen in the overnight shift, and they are found first thing in the morning. Very rare does it happen in the middle of the day. So somebody in the middle of the night is taking advantage of everybody being asleep or being locked in their cell, and they're killing inmates. Straight up true. They can come at me sideways if they want about it, but that's true. Humphrey believes that removing him as chair may have been an attempt to silence his efforts against the state agencies. I guarantee it was. And possibly at influence of lobbyists. I'd love to find out what lobbyists did that. There's so much cleaning house that needs to be done. Oh, I think the process that I'm just a little too unruly and uncontrollable. I like that in a representative. I do. I can tell you right now that they're not happy with me because I can't be controlled, and I'm not going to be controlled. If there is an agency that's doing something wrong, if children are being abused, tortured, sexually molested, why should I have to jump up and raise a kind of hell to get something done? And he's right. Why should he have to do all this? Everybody should want to stop that. I'm concerned that he is surrounded by pedos and pedo enablers. I really do. No longer being the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee removes his subpoena powers from that committee. But which is funny, they took away his ability to his subpoena powers. That tells you what people have the power over him that are guilty. But Humphrey said that he's still an elected official and the change for him has no effect on his efforts. Good for him. I don't have a fight with leadership. Leadership does what they think they need to do. Obviously, I'm not the person they want in their key roles, so they'll have to answer for that. But I don't mind speaking on it. I don't mind saying that I'm going to continue doing everything that I've done and not change a thing. Good for you. Humphrey was named vice chair on the Public Safety Committee. That seemed kind of like okay, I'm not exactly sure what they do. They just kind of toss that in there. It doesn't feel like it's cohesive with everything else, but okay. Restructuring committees and their leadership is nothing out of the ordinary for state lawmakers. It happens nearly every 2 years. So they're trying to make it sound like it's not really his imagination. And don't get me wrong, J.J. Humphrey has been a little weird in the past. Like, he passed a law that we couldn't hunt Bigfoot. Like, I don't know. I think he was bored that day. I'm not going to lie. That was a bit fucking bizarre for a grown man to do. But nonetheless, he may be a little weird, but this mission he's on, it is a fucking legit mission. And he's not from my county, but like, I would vote for him. These committees are created to focus on filed legislation under specific topics and deliberate on the language of those bills or needed changes. Fox 23 did reach out to Oklahoma Department of Corrections to ask if they wanted to comment on the change of leadership, but they have not gotten back to us. Yeah, this was December 18th. So I didn't realize he was being punished for what he was doing, because the last time I talked to him, I only talked to him for a few minutes, about a little before New Year's. Actually, not a little bit before. Yeah, so actually it was probably around this time, and I just didn't realize that's what was happening to him. So I'm tempted to go make him put together a little fruit basket for him and take it to him. But yeah, I'm proud of him for doing this. Although I hate to say it, but he's got some naysayers though. There's one guy that's on my face, he's Facebook friends with him, but he confided to me that he doesn't know if J.J. Humphrey is the guy for this job to spearhead this mission. And I'm thinking, but he's the only one that's fucking doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't think he's the right guy for it, then maybe someone else should have done it, but they didn't. You know what I mean? So he may be odd, but the man seems honest. But it's more than I can say for most of the people in that fucking Capitol building. Oh, hello, Lady Miss, and hello, Bone. Purr. I'm so happy to see y'all. Love y'all. I would be okay with control as long as I get paid. Living in Southeast Asia, I'm used to being controlled for free. Oh shit. Not me. I'd have to get paid a whole lot. But even then, it would depend on what they were trying to control, because there's some things I cannot be controlled about. So it would definitely depend. So all right, next article, boys and girls. I'm going to keep this up for reference later, in case I do actually go and interview J.J. Humphrey about this article and talk to him. I can video it if you would like, and I can play it for y'all. I may set it as a premiere or something, because live stream stuff seems to do better. Because I prefer live stream type situations. That way I can feel like I can interact with the person. Anywho, next. All right, so I bitched about this like the last live stream. Why the fuck can't they use the ocean water to put out the fires? And now they're trying to fucking gaslight us about why they can't. I'm like, oh my god. So why can't seawater put out the Los Angeles fire? Jesus Christ. Okay. The recent wildfires in Los Angeles County have ravaged over 42 square miles, resulting in 5 tragic deaths and more than 1,000 structures reduced to ashes. Faced with the enormity of the crisis, local firefighters are up against an unprecedented challenge. Really? Because this happens like every couple of years. We have an insane fire in California. A severe shortage of water resources to battle the blaze. You know what? Why don't y'all look up and find out why there is a water shortage? Because they're literally right by the ocean. You can set up desalination plants to, purify the water. So you should find out why. But it has something to do with Nestle. You should go look that up. Yeah, just look up severe water shortage in California and then put in like Nestle next to it. See what it says. You'll love it. All right. According to Gavin Newsom, who reported that the fire hydrants are completely tapped out. Fuck. Even though the Pacific Ocean is just a stone's throw away, using seawater to douse the flames presents a serious technical and environmental hurdles. Really? Really? That sounds like horseshit to me. At first glance, seawater might seem like a quick fix to tackle the fires in Los Angeles. However, it is. High salt content poses a significant problem that limits its effectiveness as a firefighting tool. Well, that's horseshit. Salt is highly corrosive, sure, so is fire, and can damage essential equipment like fire pumps and specialized water-dropping aircraft. I find that unfucking likely that just in that mission of using the water from the ocean to put out fires is going to damage the aircraft that much. I find it unlikely. Moreover, this type of water doesn't provide the same cooling effect as fresh water. It's a fucking fire. It's not a sunburn. Same cooling effect. Oh, for fuck's sake. Reducing its ability to snuff out flames effectively. That is absolutely a bunch of shit. This part right here is probably the biggest load of shit I've read in a while. Like, come the fuck on. It doesn't have the same cooling effect. Like, okay, I'm no physicist or nothing, but I'm pretty sure we put rock salt in ice cream makers to help maintain, like, help it keep cold, and I feel like it wouldn't cause any harm. The state of California probably has some kind of weird ass water contract with Nestle that prevents them from getting water from anywhere else. Another crucial aspect is the environmental impact of using seawater in areas affected by wildfires. Large amounts of salt introduced into the soil can significantly alter its salinity. Well, yes, making it harder for plants to absorb water and nutrients. I'm pretty sure they can fix it after the fucking fire is gone. Because if your plants keep catching, if everything's on fire, it doesn't really matter about the plants, does it? This is not only harms the local plant ecosystem, but also affects the land's ability to regenerate after the fire, compromising its long-term recovery. This is a whole bunch of fucking crap. This really is. So they basically don't want to use the ocean water to save people's homes because the salt water might hurt the plants. So they care more about the stupid plants and salt than they care about people's homes. I'm so glad I don't live in California. Although if the governor's house was on fire, I guarantee they'd be using ocean water real quick. From an operational standpoint, the risks associated with salt water aren't limited to equipment damage. According to technical studies, salt water conducts electricity better than fresh water, increasing the danger for firefighters working near downed power lines. Well, okay, again, I'm not a rocket scientist, but wouldn't it make sense to shut down part of the grid near there to prevent that from happening? Isn't that a possibility that they could shut down power to those downed power lines? Because water and downed power lines are dangerous, whether it's salt water or fresh water. The human body will not know the difference if it gets electrocuted by that water. I guarantee it. So this is, again, more propaganda horse shit to try to somehow excuse the fact that they're letting this happen. This characteristic makes the use of seawater a less safe alternative. Less safer than what? Because if they're out of fresh water, they don't have a whole lot of alternatives. So if it's a less safe alternative compared to what? Because they don't fucking have anything else. especially in an environment where a significant risk to rescuers' lives. I get that, but so is having a wildfire out of control. That's also a danger to people's lives. So I think they should use the fucking seawater, and I think that Gavin Newsom should be in prison. And so should the mayor. If anybody else has been fucking helping make this a mess. So, yeah. Yes, maybe, but they can. Most of that stuff they just call in gardeners and turf and set up their own yards and fix them anyway. And you can eventually just water the ground after. Somebody's got their fucking phone loud. Excuse me. I don't know why they gotta be loud like that. Sorry. People are salty about this. Not just planes, helicopters can be equipped with special buckets, but helicopters can't operate in high winds. I get that. That I do get. Because, yeah, high winds have fucked up many a helicopter. I have no doubt. I've seen them too. They should use lake water. Yeah, they should do something, but yeah, they're just, oh, you're heading off to work? Well, be safe and be good. Better. And besides, after a while, they'll be able to salt the ground. God help me, water the ground when they have more time to help make get the salt down further and further away from the topsoil. Like, as long as they get the fires out, they can recover the situation from there. But yeah, if everything's just burned all to hell and everybody's lost their homes and people are getting killed, them trying to say, oh, it's not safe for the firefighters. A fire out of control sure as hell isn't either. All right, next article. I fucking knew this was coming. If y'all have been watching my live streams for the last couple of years, I told y'all that this fucking clown right here, Ryan Walters, the one that wants to spend $3 million of our taxpayer money on fucking Trump Bibles because he's the fucking school, he's a superintendent of schools here. And I use Epic Schools for my daughter, and we have a learning fund, and they told me that so I wanted a Bible, an old Bible, and they're like, sorry, it's not considered consumable or useful. And I'm like, that's weird. So this clown right here is going to spend $3 million of our tax dollars getting Trump Bibles, specifically Trump Bibles. They lettered the law this way. They said that the Bible had to contain the Bill of Rights, the Ten Commandments, all this stuff, the Bill of Rights specifically. And there's only one Bible on the market, and that's the Trump Bible. So he helped make legislation and law that it had to be a Trump Bible. And I've been telling everybody for 2 years, this motherfucker was going to run for governor. I fucking knew he was gonna. So I knew this before anybody. I was saying it before other people were talking about it. So yes, I was right. I knew this little shitbag right here was going to try. And this shitbag right here, fucking Drummond, that's the Attorney General. That is the Attorney General who is trying to block child services from being investigated for abusing kids. So this piece of shit right here, and this fucking guy right here, the amount of fucking stocks and the stuff he buys, this man can. I feel this insider trading going on with this motherfucker, and he is absolute butt buddies with fucking the current governor. He is no better. Electing him would be like electing Stitt all over again. And these two are fucking terrible. I don't know much about Charles McCall, but as far as I know, he's the only one I don't fucking hate in this entire lineup. Yeah, this piece of shit right here made sure the state of Oklahoma dropped the charges against a police officer who body slammed a 71-year-old cancer patient. Everybody, even the people who like the cops, were freaking out, going, whoa, whoa. Except for one person. One person I know actually thought the old man deserved it. That's kind of gross. But everybody else in the fucking comment section of the articles for this, even the people who support police, did not support that 71-year-old man being body slammed face first, mind you. And this man right here made sure that cop didn't go to trial. They made sure the charges were dropped. So this guy is a corrupt piece of shit who will just totally be okay with cops going around beating the hell out of everybody. This idiot right here is trying so hard to get Trump's attention that he's legislated our tax dollars to pay for Trump Bibles. Keep it down, folks.
Old man.
Oh. Hey! Thank you.
She's picking on me.
I'm gonna pick on you.
He's trying to tickle me.
Go take it somewhere else. Take that shit outside or something.
Bye, please.
Bye. Goofy fuck. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yes, I fucking knew this. I kind of suspected he might try for governor. I wasn't sure, but him, I fucking knew it. That guy has never stopped campaigning. Even when he won Oklahoma superintendent, he never stopped campaigning. So they're scumbags. I don't know if he is or not. I know he's a Democrat, but that's all I know about Charles McCall. I think he's a Democrat. I don't know anything else about the guy. So I don't hate him. The other three I do. So he's got a better chance of me voting for him. But I'd have to talk to him and see what kind of person he is, because I don't know. But anyway, next. I hate these ads here where it like blocks up a lot of the. I don't know why they're being so fucking loud on live streaming. They're in rare form tonight. They usually aren't like this. Anyway, Biden backs Lebanon's new president, Joseph Aoun, the right leader for this time. If Biden backs it, you know it's a bad idea. So let's go see this fucking mess. And you know he's a puppet. I'm just going out straight with it. That's why that thumbnail shows him being a marionette puppet. Dude is a fucking America and Israel puppet. And we'll get into it in a minute. President Biden welcomed the election of Joseph Aoun, Lebanon's president, on Thursday, saying in the statement that the army chief was the right leader for the war-battered country. And why is the country war-battered, mind you? That's right. Israel. President Aoun has my confidence. Oh, God, that's a bad sign. I believe strongly that he is the right leader for this time, said Biden, adding that Aoun would provide critical leadership in overseeing the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire. Of course. Aoun's election by Lebanese lawmakers ended more than 2-year vacancy and could mark a step toward lifting the country out of its financial meltdown. Usually when countries have financial meltdowns because somebody's ambushing their shit. We finally have a president, Biden said later. We? That's kind of weird. Biden said later at the end of a meeting on the response to the major wildfires. So that was his response, at the end of talking about the wildfires. Look, we have a president. Bruh. We don't. Lebanon kind of does, but we don't. Not like, no. Dude, they're all fucking weirdos. He said he had spoken to Aoun by phone on Thursday for 20 minutes to a half hour, describing the Lebanese leader as a first-rate guy. This is the guy who thinks his son is first-rate, too. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken called Aoun's election a moment of historical opportunity, which offered Lebanon a chance to reestablish durable peace and stability. That means to surrender. Aoun, who turned 61 on Friday, faces a difficult task of overseeing the fragile ceasefire with Israel and South Lebanon. Right. He must also name a prime minister capable of implementing the reforms demanded by the international creditors in return for a desperately needed bailout. Oh my God. They're saying it. I can't believe they're saying the quiet part out loud. So he has to pick a prime minister that the international creditors want, the international community wants if he wants money. I can't believe they're saying that out loud. I'm just gonna let y'all soak that in for a second. Oh my God. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they printed it and said the truth out loud. I'm stunned, flabbergasted even. So yeah, if they want money, they have to put in someone in power that suits the needs of the other countries that are around there. Guarantee Israel's top of that list, and so is America on that. Guarantee it. And you might think, well, Maura, you're being paranoid about Israel. You're being silly. Well, I might agree, but I feel like maybe I'm not being that silly. So, this came out January 10th. Joseph Anon should start by recognizing what he owes Israel. Now, my dad always said, just because you're paranoid does not mean they're not out there to get you. Boom. Honestly, I'm actually just amazed by how honest they fucking mean. They're so emboldened. They just tell the truth too much in some places. He's a puppet. Lebanon's new president, Joseph Anon, promised the stars and the moons in his inaugural speech, and I wish him success. But even if he is only able to deliver a fraction of what he promised, he should remember that he couldn't have done it without Israel. I'll just let that soak in for a minute. Let y'all take that all in for a minute. However, instead of recognizing that, Anon's speech repeated the same false narratives that we have come to expect from Lebanese politicians. Oh, maybe he's just putting up a little front, you know? He's putting up a little front, you know? He doesn't want to look like he's too buddy-buddy with Israel. Like, I guarantee he'll surrender. I doubt he'll just, because he needs the money after all. You saw the thing with the international creditors. So he's probably just trying to make it look like he's not a puppet. But, you know, we'll see if time goes on. There is no doubt that the deadlock that has prevented Lebanon from electing a president for 2 years and 2 months was finally resolved only because a significant weakened Hezbollah was no longer able to block the election of a president. And not only was Anon able to get elected because against the wishes of Hezbollah, but he was also made sweeping promises to remove Hezbollah as a military and criminal organization. There we go. There we have it. So he's a puppet doing what? Yeah. Can you imagine if someone like got elected and decided to get rid of our military? Because they're saying that Hezbollah is a terrorist group, but they are a military group. They are the country's defense. You know, they don't really talk about that much, but yeah, it is. That'd be like someone, you know, getting elected and then removing our National Guard or something. Wouldn't that be fucking bizarre? You'd be like, why are you doing that? You know? You'd wonder whose, you know, purposes they're fulfilling. Anyway, Anon said, if we want to build a nation, we must all be under the roof of law and justice, where there will be no more mafias or security islands, no more leaks or money laundering, no more drug trafficking, no more interference in the judicial system, in police stations, no more protection of clientelism. I don't know what that means. And no more immunity for criminals and the corrupt. I feel like that's a lie. He promised to ensure the state's right to hold a monopoly on weapons and to invest in the army to monitor the borders, maintain their security in the south, define the boundaries in the east, north, and at sea, prevent smuggling, fight terrorism, and preserve the unity of the Lebanese territory. That will probably be easier said than done, since Israel is trying to has encroached on the southern territory and is trying to keep it. They even have settlers trying to sneak over there, like a little land run kind of thing, where they're trying to sneak over and start, you know, setting up camp. But okay. The reference to Hezbollah's military capabilities, to its criminal activities, and to its illegitimate control over the government's institutions is unmistakable. And he was roundly applauded for making these promises. This would have been unthinkable just a few months ago. What happened to make this possible? What happened is that Israel defeated Hezbollah and forced it into an agreement that involves removing it from the south and replacing it with Lebanese army. Hezbollah is now in the shadow of its normal self, and the weight it carries in Lebanese politics is weakened accordingly. It's amazing how much they just brag out loud at how involved they are in other people's government. Anon should remember that Israel did this at the very high cost to itself. So yeah. So right here. So Israel, all right, so Anon should remember that Israel did this at a very high cost to itself, including the death of dozens of soldiers. So Israel is admitting that they created this war with Lebanon and sacrificed their own soldiers, and probably some of ours, but mostly their own soldiers, just to get him elected to Lebanon. I'm amazed they're saying this out loud. I really am. I mean, it's stuff I'm not surprised about. I'm just surprised they're telling it. While Israel did it for its own citizens and not specifically for Lebanon's benefit, well, yeah, the benefit to Lebanon is undeniable. Hezbollah has been a cancer for Lebanon for a long time, and thanks to Israel, Lebanon has an opportunity to eradicate the cancer. But did the people say they didn't want Hezbollah there? I mean, I'm just wondering, like, did we ask the people who live there if that's what they wanted? Of course not. But far from expressing gratitude, Anon repeated the rhetoric about Israel that we are used to hearing from Lebanese politicians. Well, if everybody says it, maybe there's something to it. He promised to eradicate the Israeli occupation and repel the aggressions on all Lebanese territories. Hold on. So let's look at this for just a jiffy. So they're saying here, he keeps repeating the rhetoric about Israel that we keep hearing. And apparently that is to get rid of the Israeli occupation and repel its aggressions on all Lebanese territories. So basically, they call it rhetoric to want Israel to get back and leave their country alone and get off their land. Lebanon's land. Not Israel's land. Israel has a tendency to kind of spread around like a little cancer and kind of stay and nest itself and then spread further. But yeah, he promised to eradicate the Israeli occupation from Lebanese territory. And this is rhetoric they're used to hearing. Like, this is what they're used to hearing from the Lebanese. It's because they don't want you on their land. That's why. First off, there is no Israeli occupation in Lebanon. Really? Really, there's not? Are we sure? I feel like there kind of is. Let's see. The Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon lasted for 18 years from 1982 to 2000. Let's see. In 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon in response to attacks from Lebanon by Palestinian movement. So I don't know why that, to attacks from Lebanon by, well, so I guess let's invade someone else's country. Let's see. Let's see if we can narrow this down a little bit. There we go. Let's narrow it down a smidge. All right, on October 1st, 2024, Israel invaded southern Lebanon, marking the 6th Israeli invasion of Lebanon since 1978. So they keep fucking doing this to them. Let's see. Southern Lebanon occupation prevents residents from returning to their homes. They're promising Israel withdrawal, but then they moved it up and just like, maybe not right now. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's see what this says. Israel's dream of renewed occupation. Israel's Broadcasting Authority has reported that Israel's army has decided to stay in the Mediterranean country beyond the 60-day withdrawal period specified in the truce agreement. They're always breaking truce agreements. Let's see. The troops have pushed deeper into Lebanese territory. They have fired Lebanese residents, killing more than 30. So yeah, they just start shooting at the residents living there. Has urged the establishment of a ceasefire. Netanyahu regime is backing out of the accord and is telling tall stories to justify their presence in Lebanon. So yeah, and somewhere else I'd seen articles where some people were trying to stay in there. So yeah, but that's stuff you all can go look at on your own. Yeah, it's there, and we all know it is. Not only has Israel made it clear that its presence in Lebanon is temporary for specific purposes. Yeah, they keep having purposes to do this and have been doing this. As you saw, they keep invading Lebanon for decades. They keep doing it until they are forced out. Even if but it even signed an agreement to withdraw and is already in the process of doing so. No, they held it off and they don't want to do it till like February, and they're going to probably do it again. And how exactly would he repel Israeli aggression? By force, I would hope. He has wisely kept his army away from the fighting with Israel, and that's because he knows that he could not fight Israel. And more importantly, he knows that Israel is in fact doing his work for him. See, yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know. I think he's just pretending. I think he's a puppet pretending to talk shit about Israel just so it, people are like, Annan also promised to adhere to the principles of rejecting the settlement of the Palestinian brothers, thus preserving their right of return and strengthening the two-state solution. Oh man, they're gonna kill this guy. If he is serious about wanting a two-state solution, Netanyahu is gonna have this man killed. Guarantee it. Mark your calendars. I say in less than a year, if he decides to actually push for a two-state solution, they will find a reason to get rid of him somehow, some way. I say maybe even before July, just to give ourselves like a little something to bet on, so to speak. Refusing to give the Palestinians equal rights in Lebanon is a shameful policy that does not strengthen the two-state solution. On the contrary, it perpetuates the illusion that the so-called Palestinian refugees will one day be able to live in Israel, therefore transforming into an Arab state. See, refusing to give the Palestinians equal rights in Lebanon is a shameful policy. I think it's hilarious that the Times of Israel is saying that not giving Palestinians equal rights in Lebanon is shameful when you took their land and you don't give them equal rights. The pot calling kettle. My God. There's so much audacity. It must be on sale and they're stocking up. Woo. I realize that stating bluntly his gratitude for Israel's defeat of Hezbollah would have ended his presidency very quickly, but that by itself proves the depths of Lebanon's problems. So, okay, so think about this. So, all right, so here this thing is not working. There we go. So he is saying that stating bluntly that he had Israel to thank for Hezbollah's defeat would ended his presidency very quickly is very interesting since they are publicly saying this. Do they think that people in Lebanon don't have some access to the media there and don't read some of this stuff? So if they know that him admitting would have caused him to lose the presidency, why are they putting it out there? Like, they're trying to put this guy on, like, make his footing off balance is what they're doing. Lebanese society is built on lies and deception. Ironic. Really? On lies and deception. Hold on. Where have I heard this before? Give me a second real quick. Oh, sod. What is it? When someone, motto. There we go. That's what it was. What is their motto? Hold on. Here is it. Oh yes. By way of deception. They have recently, last year or two, changed their motto to something a little friendlier sounding. But for the longest time, Mossad's motto is by way of deception, thou shalt do war. That has been their fucking motto. So the irony that they're saying that Lebanon is built on deception and lies. Like, bro, man, you ever met somebody who accused everybody of shit and it turns out they themselves were guilty of the shit they were accusing other people of? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how that is. So that's literally like lies and deception is literally their it's it's their fucking motto. Goofy fucks. I knew I heard that somewhere before. I had to go look. Anon promised that every Lebanese in the diaspora will be proud of Lebanon, just as Lebanon is proud of its expatriates. But as a Lebanese expatriate, I cannot be proud of a country that continues to perpetuate lies about neighbors that just gave a new lease on life. Woo! Someone has. Someone's been brainwashed over there. I've heard that happens a lot. Anon stated that now begins a new phase in the history of Lebanon. If he means it, then it's time for Lebanon to start telling the truth about Israel. People kind of have been. And who's this that fucking wrote this mess? Oh, okay, so him, I guess. Okay, I guess this is the guy who wrote this audacity piece. Anywho. All right, couple more. All right, so the Gaza war death toll could be 40% higher. I don't math, but I told y'all that the number was pretty high. I think it's even higher than that because now we're getting toward like 50,000 targets bombed. Because back in October, it was like 41,000. So now we're like 50,000. I would estimate that we're close to 50,000 at this point. So, and last few times I've seen bombings happen, that it's at least 20 to 50 people killed. Not the 5, because remember I always do it by 5. 5 people for each bomb drop, and we would have like 200,000 fatalities we calculated. And even if I'm wrong, even if it's less, that's still it would. If it's half, if it's 2.5 people, killed for every bomb drop, we'd still be at 100,000 people death toll. That's still way fucking higher. But I guarantee those bombs hit more than 5 people every fucking time it drops. And so, yeah, they're saying it could be higher. Yes, it could. In fact, I guarantee it is. Let's set up this and play it for y'all. But without sound, of course, because again, don't want a copyright hit. And I'm sorry, why is this guy wearing a clean Dolce & Gabbana shirt? Like, doesn't seem very worn torn. Some of the stuff the R is coming off on his press vest. It's just sort of peeling off. Some of the times I think some of the stuff is put out there and is staged. Like, some of these folks look way too clean right here. I think that some propaganda is put out here to make us feel some kind of way or to discredit it. Like, I'm sitting here going, he's got a Dolce & Gabbana shirt and this guy's R is coming off on his press vest. So this could be put here to make them look bad and make it look staged when it's not them staging it. Could be. But anyway, let's look at this. Oh, so they're estimating that 64,260 deaths were due to traumatic injury. That's just traumatic injury. There's still other things to consider, like starvation, not being able to get to medical care, like if you're diabetic or you just get an infection and you have no antibiotics, because they've done their best to tear up as many hospitals as they can. So just from like direct impact, they're saying it's 64,000 and something. Again, they're not including heart attacks, lung disease, heart disease, cancer, stuff that they should be able to get medication for but cannot. Yeah, a lot of them are under the rubble. It's hard to count people if you can't find the bodies. I did mention before that's where I think a large number of the bodies are. I think it's why they didn't count them. All right, next article. Let's check on all of y'all for a real quick minute. Oh, hello, digital pollution. Meow, meow. Aw, well, thank you. So glad to have you here. I give you lots of hugs. He's like, Ryan Walters, no. I'm right? No shit. Ugh. Looks like another vote for libertarian, right? Well, I don't know who, water is wet, news is bullshit. Correct. It very much is bullshit. My gas has been flabbered. Right? Same. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Yes, I love you, big brother. I'm kidding. I can't even say that with a straight face without feeling gross. Fuck the government. Oof. All right. That says allowing Israel to dismantle Hamas, the last battalion, is what Trump meant by all hell. So that seems fucking stupid. So I don't know if y'all heard it, but Trump was like, well, if Hamas doesn't do this and that and agree to a ceasefire, all hell's gonna break loose in the Middle East. I'm like, ooh, okay. And now he's saying, well, allowing Israel to dismantle Hamas's last battalion is what Trump meant by all hell. So basically, Trump's like, he's not doing anything then. He's just letting Israel do whatever it wants. Like, Trump's like, oh, hell's gonna break loose when I get in office. Bitch, it already is. I think there's a disconnect there, sir. Ah, damn it. These fucking rolling papers are terrible. It's another cigarette just tore. Fuck, these are lousy. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance appears to reveal the practical implications of Donald Trump's threat that all hell will break loose if the hostages are not released by January 20th. It means enabling the Israelis to knock out the final couple of battalions of Hamas and their leadership. It means that very aggressive sanctions and financial penalties on those who are supporting terrorist organizations in the Middle East. It means actually doing the job of the American leadership. They are already enabled. Like, how are you going to enable them anymore? Are you going to tell them that nuclear weapons are okay now? Like, that's the only way, because they're already bombing the shit out of everything, including hospitals and refugee tents. I mean, they're already bombing the shit out of everything. Like, what do you mean enable them to do more? Like, and it says knock out the last couple of battalions of. They have been saying they've defeated Hamas and Hezbollah for months. So the IDF indeed states that it is yet to dismantle the final two of the Hamas's 24 battalions. I didn't know it had 4. How the hell they have 24 battalions? How many people is in a battalion? Let me go look. So I don't actually know. I don't know if it's the same over there as here. How many people in a battalion? It already knows what I'm trying to say. We have, let's see, a field army. The U.S. Army's largest unit for structure is 50,000 soldiers. That's not telling me that's a battalion. 1,000 soldiers. Oh my God. All right. So, and they're claiming that Hamas has 24 battalions. You really expect me to believe that they have 24? I'm assuming 24,000. Is that right? Like, am I missing a decimal point somewhere? Like 24,000 troops? No. Fuck, they do. Hell no. You know how many people? That's a fucking lot. Hell no. There is no fucking way that they had 24 battalions. And if they do, there's no fucking way that say, oh, battalions consist of 4 to 6 companies that can include up to 1,000 soldiers. Okay, so I guess it's still the same kind of thing, really. There's no fucking way they had 24,000 soldiers going wild. Nah. Their battalion is smaller, or they're literally just full of shit. And Hamas doesn't have battalions like that. Nah. There's no fucking way. Anyway. But even so, even if there was 24,000, they have killed more than that. They have killed so many fucking people. They've killed way more than 24,000 people. Way fucking more. They've killed like 100,000 people at the very least, if not more. Probably like 200,000. Holy fuck. But this is because they are believed to be holding many of the remaining 98 hostages in central Gaza. They bombed it anyway. They didn't know where the hostages were. They just bombed whatever and killed hostages doing it. Accordingly, the IDF has avoided operating there in mass. So it's no risk to the lives of the hostages. That's not true. They've been killing hostages. They've killed them in bombing. And think about it. Think about what this is saying right here. They're admitting that some have been killed. Okay. But think about this. The remaining 98 hostages in central Gaza. Central Gaza is where they bomb the hardest, because it's where like those soup kitchens are. And the IDF has avoided operating there in mass, so not to risk the lives of the hostages. But they've been bombing the dog shit out of central Gaza. South and middle and southern. So if they know the hostages are in central Gaza, wouldn't it make sense to send your troops on foot to go get them instead of just bombing the dog shit out of it? If you supposedly know, how do they know what location they're in? Doesn't that sound weird to you? Because they supposedly didn't have any idea where they were. All right. Given that the number of them have been accidentally killed in the IDF operations or were executed by their Hamas captors when they feared Israeli troops were approaching, Vance does not elaborate on the financial sanctions that the incoming Trump administration have planned against Hamas. But the Biden administration has already levied a host of sanctions against the terror group and has issued arrest warrants for several of its leaders. So yeah, there's already fucking sanctions. You're gonna you're gonna give them more sanctions? You're gonna make it more illegal? Fucking dumbasses. The incoming vice president asserts that Trump's threat of all hell to pay in the Middle East if the hostages are not released is what sparked recent progress in the ongoing hostage talks. Sure. We're hopeful that there's going to be a deal that's struck toward the end of the Biden administration. Maybe the last day or two, Vance says. Really? That's kind of weird to say the last day or two. Mark your calendars on that. Let's see if between the 17th and the 19th there is a deal struck. Just for the fuck of it. Let's mark our little calendars and see. But regardless of the deal that is struck, it will be because the people are terrified that there are going to be consequences for Hamas. There already were. They're acting like nothing's been going on over there. Acting like, oh, now there's going to be consequences. Bitch, like 200,000 people are dead. Almost all of Gaza Strip is leveled. And Israel's attacking the West Bank. Like, there's already consequences. There's consequences for people who aren't even involved. Unbelievable. Fuck. All right, well, so that's all I got to bitch about. What in the fuck is... Oh, sciatica. Yeah, I feel that. I probably need to go do that too. My back is fucked up. Anyway, so, all right. I've bitched about all I have to bitch about for now. Let's see. I love you guys. That probably does look weird. Just leave it like that. Let's see. Oh, was there something else I wanted to show y'all? Oh, yeah. There was. Okay, let me share screen real quick. I forgot. There's 2 more things, and then I can close those down too. We'll do entire screen, so just do it like this. So apparently there is, I guess, some sort of a tariff or tax in New York for traffic congestion. What the fuck? Anyway, it's kind of weird. America's American gives New York City congestion report after Democrats started their new congestion pricing in Manhattan, and it is now a literal ghost town, which is the fucking weirdest shit I've seen. Because wait till you see this shit. Like, wait till you see it. Tumbleweeds. Look at this. A goddamn tumbleweed in New York. I do say there were Christmas trees. That's not a fucking Christmas tree. But, like, I don't even think the plants that make tumbleweeds are even in New York. You find them in, like, Montana and shit. But, yeah. They started doing that, and suddenly the traffic's gone. There's barely any foot traffic. And tumbleweeds. And hold up. Let's back that up for just a second. That was weird. Hold on. Let's look at something. Where is it? I'll hide this. Okay, so let me go. Wait for it again. Oh, there. Watch this one. It seems like the wind is doing two different things. This one is being blown across this way, and this one is being blown the opposite direction. How can it be blowing in two different directions like this, directly across from each other? That looks weird. Like, watch them cross in front of each other like that. Like, that was kind of weird. Like, it needs to call them Christmas trees. I've never seen Christmas trees just roll around like that in the wind. I don't know what kind of Christmas trees they got. How the hell are Christmas trees just fly all like willy-nilly like that? Like, I think those are tumbleweeds, but it's still very weird effect to have. Like, look how deserted it is. Looks like a tumbleweed crosses the road. It's like a fucking cartoon. All right, and this part that YouTube may or may not like. So, all right, so when did this article come out? All right, January 8th of this year. So, Israel blocks UN probe into Hamas sexual crimes from October 7th to avoid inquiry into abuse of Palestinians. Yes, because if you look it up, you will find there is a shit ton of videos showing Palestinian prisoners being sexually assaulted by Israeli soldiers. It's pretty gross. They'll even, like, the soldiers will even make a wall blocking any view while their buddy is inside that wall doing something to the prisoner and nobody can see it. It's creepy. The UN Special Representative on conflict-related sexual violence asked to investigate Hamas alleged crimes on October 7th and toward the hostages. But Israel refused her request to access Israeli detention facilities to examine claims of IDF abuse. Israeli women's rights groups warned that this could lead to Israel, instead of Hamas, being added to the UN sexual violence blacklist. Well, they're not gonna do that if there's not evidence. Like, you're not going to be put on a blacklist or violence blacklist if you didn't do anything. And that's wild. It's the Israeli women's rights group that are fighting to protect Israeli sexual violence. That's insane. That is madness. Sickos. And since I'm not paying Haaretz money for shit, Israel is blocking the United Nations from investigating sexual crimes committed by Hamas during October 7th, fearing it will require granting access to probe allegations of sexual violence against Palestinians in Israeli detention. So they are so desperate to hide the fact they've been raping Palestinians, they're willing to basically let any sexual crimes they claimed happened on October 7th slide. Like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to investigate it. It's fine. Never mind. You don't have to investigate it. It's fine. Can you imagine how bad your crime must be if you're willing to let that slide? You're like, no, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Forget about it. Because you don't want them finding out how much you've been raping people. Like, bro, what? Madness. Okay. I wanted to share that, and now we've shared that. Okay. Now I can close those two down. No, right? Can you imagine? Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you'll see tons of articles where Palestinian soldiers rape tons of Israeli soldiers rape Palestinians prisoners. Like, it's craziness. And rape, as far as I know, was considered like an international war crime. But like everybody got together and kind of agreed, yeah, you're not supposed to do that shit. So, you know, anyway. So, all right, lots of loves and hugs. I'll get our little song ready, and I will see y'all when I see y'all. Hopefully, at some point, I'll have a movie that actually fucking works. Because those other websites aren't working. I'm down to like one website now that works. So hopefully I'll find something good for y'all. I loves y'all.
Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery.